Hi, I'm Chris Bergwald, Director of Adult Faith Formation with the Diocese of Sioux Falls.
I'm Eric Gallagher, the Director of Adolescent Faith Formation for the Diocese of Sioux Falls.
And in this video, we're talking about Chapter 9 in Sherry Weddell's book, Forming Intentional Disciples. The title of the chapter is Break the Silence, or Breaking the Silence. And the biggest thing for me in this chapter, the biggest takeaway in terms of those involved in catechetical ministry, evangelization, and so on, is just the importance of breaking the silence, of talking about being an intentional disciple. The whole idea of discipleship, that catechesis is about deepening our relationship with Christ. It presumes that we already have one as well. So Eric, you've done a lot in the diocese, and we've talked a lot about the process of evangelization, and it begins with the pre-evangelization, primary proclamation of the gospel, hopefully bringing people to a point where as teens or adults, they make a conscious decision, if they haven't before in their life, where they are in a relationship with Christ intentionally, and then it's deepening that. But in order for that to happen, we, as those who work in evangelization, catechesis, discipleship, have to be talking about the importance of having a relationship with Christ, of not avoiding that or not presuming that, which is, I think, what we just sort of assume that people already have the relationship, and we have to talk about it, and it's not just an evangelical Protestant thing. One of my favorite quotes from Pope Benedict, and I've probably used it in previous videos, he speaks about the most important thing in the Christian faith is having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And again, this is obviously a great theologian, a great pastor, a great pope, and he uses that language. And all the popes have spoken that way. But oftentimes at sort of the local parish level, we don't always use that language. People are uncomfortable about it, but we need to start using it.
And one of the biggest struggles that we have, I think, especially when I work with youth, is they don't have a place they don't see Christ or find Christ like back in the homes. Like, it's very hard for them to find them. And what I've been doing with our camps and events lately is I almost use the analogy of they've dropped their nets and they said yes to Christ at camp, and then they get home and then they're trying to find Christ. They're just looking. So fortunately, I think, especially in our diocese, we've set a very strong foundation in the sacramental life, and kids are going back and finding our Lord in the Eucharist and in confession and things like that. But now, what we're trying to do is create that atmosphere in the parishes where they can continue this conversation about Jesus, who Jesus is, because they're so used to it and they receive that from these events. And so we can facilitate it pretty easily in a 3-4 day event, and that's the only thing that's talked about. It seems like everyone's interested, and so it's very easy for them to say yes, but then they go back to, especially in our diocese, these smaller towns where they might be the only ones there, and it's just not a common topic. So yeah, just saying Jesus' name is difficult for some people. And what we really try to do is, just through the vision of all of our programming in the diocese, has really been to cast that vision of why are we doing what we're doing. Well, we have pre-conversion, and then we have those conversion moments, and then we have that post-conversion, and then hopefully later on that missionary initiative of discipleship is creating this fruit, and what do we do with it, and just being very clear of why do we do these things. So if you're going to do a lock-in, fine, let's talk about why. And we use Jesus' name in this. Well, how does Jesus come into this idea of the lock-in? Great question. Like, let's figure it out. But even, I think, prepping parents too, I know we've started doing a lot of things when parents will join the last part of a retreat or something, or the family will join, and we invite them into what's been going on, and we talk about Jesus and kind of spark that discussion. We even have for our camps this year, we're going to do a thing when the parents drop their kids off, where we're going to lead that family in a time of prayer, and Jesus begins like before the parents even drop their kids off and leave. We're already placing Jesus into that family before they leave and go. So yeah, and it's a difficult thing because people just aren't comfortable with it. I mean, I see it's in everything we do. It's just it gets awkward when you start talking about Jesus.
Right,
So,
but it's just a matter of opening people up, doing what we can to open people up to that, because obviously the reality is he is present. I mean, as Catholics, we have access to Jesus, obviously, in the teaching, the Bible, and so on, but especially the sacraments, most particularly the Eucharist. I mean, Jesus is truly present. It's not that we have to, through our relationship, make him present. He is there. We just need to do what we can to awaken people to the reality of this is someone that I can be in relationship with.